my mom left to go and move to another country. So I didn't see her for a long time. And then I kind of reconnected with her at a later point in my life properly. So that was pretty intense for a 12-year-old boy to like suddenly be living with my dad and my mom leaves.
A real rock star on the show today. Gavin Rossdale, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. So how you're living in Los Angeles? What's the vibe like? How's your head? How's your mind state?
Some of this new stuff I've been doing is so cool. I'm so excited about it because I got a little bit better at the studio, so I can kind of start up these tracks, make it a bit more weird, a bit more interesting, and so it's just I don't understand music that much, and I'm always trying to learn it, and every song is a different voyage into a new discovery, to be honest. And especially in my studio, just the stuff you can do nowadays is pretty cool, and you can just fuck things up and just start in an interesting way. So I've done sort of about 5 regular, more standard tracks thing, and then I've done a bunch of songs that are like more tricked out, more trippy, which I like.
What do you think your strengths are versus your weaknesses as a songwriter and a musician?
Like my strength, my weakness is I still find it sounds so stupid, but I'm not even joking. It's still, music is such a mystery to me. It's still mysterious how the alchemy of certain elements. When you think that Mozart had the same notes, he puts us all to shame, or the Beatles, or Bowie. So my strength, my strength is this. My weakness is not being not good enough as a guitar player, as a musician. So I have to sort of push things through, and then that's my weakness. And then my strength is not being good enough at music, because something else.
Exactly.
It makes crazy things happen where I'm like, oh God, why do I have to modulate? No, most people write in a key. If you learn traditionally, classically trained, you write in a key as a key.
Yeah.
And when you're like a self-taught kind of weirdo like me, you have no respect for the keys. So sometimes I'll just push other chords in, and I'll be like, why is it so hard to sing that? So I'm like, because it's not in the key of the song you've written.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do this modulation thing. I have a natural modulation. Apparently John Lennon had it too.
Yeah, I was going to say John Lennon.
Right. Things were out of the key. So my strengths and my weaknesses are really connected.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, as you get old, like, who did I talk? Oh, Joe. We interviewed Joe Bonamassa. Said like, it's that second 10,000 hours where you finally become a real musician. Like, feel like you're comfortable with who you are as an artist.
You're refining.
You're refining it. Do you believe in that?
I mean, I think that and also for me, lyrically is a massive part. Bush has always been very lyric dependent. I think that it's a vibe. It's like people like the music, but the lyrics be, the ones that I think help to keep there, keep you going. And I don't know, I just sort of feel like so clear about what I want to complain about.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that. It's like the idea of you beat loneliness. When was there a point in your life where loneliness beat you?
Well, all the time at different sort of moments and different times. I mean, like, I think that it's funny because when I came up, what was so called grunge, sort of whatever it means, but sort of music of complaint. It wasn't hair metal,
Right.
Yeah.
And it was weird because mental health for men was not really okay to talk about, especially in England. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Suppression.
It was illegal to get therapy in England.
I didn't know.
I bet, man.
Hey, at least the sun's always out.
If you killed someone, you're allowed to get therapy. After that, you have to just grin and bear it. But so I think that's really important about this whole mental health thing. And you see, like, the suicides. I mean, the suicide rates are nuts. You could devote your life to kind of helping people conceptualize that, getting help and admitting loneliness, admitting melancholy or depression. I don't have depression, so I don't feel like I'm depressed. I have a sort of a natural ability to be melancholic.
You're just British.
I think that's just
reminds me of my entire family.
No,
Yeah.
no, but I hear you, man. Let's just keep explaining this. Like, what about touring? Like when you're like when things were really high, Bush was fucking popping. Like how did you approach this melancholy? Is what I'm saying. Like, did you accept that you're getting famous, or did you never accept that you were successful?
Well, I had a really weird journey. I don't know what it's like for you guys because you're obviously doing great with that many shows a year, but it took me a while to a number of bands and a number of years of just steady diet of failure, just endless failure, endless doors shut doors. And what's worse than someone shut a door in your face is they shut a door in your face for like a record company or managers or anyone, and they never tell you why. So
Right.
you're always stuck with like, fuck, what is it about me? With me, it was always blamed on my voice. They would always say, oh, it's your voice. You can't really sing very well. I probably wasn't any good on stage. So what was weird about being successful, and I don't mean this in a flash way of like, Oasis, they consider themselves the best band in the world. I didn't come from that school. I know sort of a slightly more different, low-key version of it. So what was weird about being successful or finally selling records is that I suddenly felt like I wasn't crazy for pursuing that dream. I wasn't crazy for thinking that some people would like what I did. You can never expect everyone to like what you do. That would be like, you'd have to do some vanilla anodyne bullshit for everyone to like it.
Right.
Maybe everyone liked Portishead. Maybe there's the one band ever that everyone's like, okay,
Yeah,
that was it. Apart from that, so if you don't like Slipknot, if you don't like metal, you don't think Slipknot's great, or if you don't like, Mazzy Star because she's too dreamy, I don't know, so everyone can have their critiques. So when I got that moment or that time, it felt like I was where I should be. You know what I'm saying? Felt actually where I should be of just making records for some people and doing shows for some people. Never expecting world domination and never got it. So there you go.
Do you feel the same level of melancholy for life that isn't your art versus your personal life?
Yeah, I think at all times because, we're all products of basically pretty shitty parenting.
Yeah.
And, didn't really know what they were doing in many ways. And so there is a sense of, I probably do have a chip on my shoulder of trying to be heard or trying to, I'm not like a people pleaser so much, but maybe I am. I don't know. I always want the best. I always believe in people. I want the best of things. People let you down all the time. People are really shitty. And you just you keep a close core of people. But most people come across like leaning on a tent. It's kind of hard most people can't be relied on.
Right.
But that's cool. I mean, nor should they be. I mean, I have a funny philosophy now. Like I'm a complete atheist and not really that spiritual. I just think that there's an energy in the world, the synchronicity of meeting people of like minds. That energy I believe in, but the rest is just being a decent human being, just being considerate of others. It's really that basic. And the funny part is that all the people, all the Bible bashers, and all the religious nuts are the least kind, least forgiving, least dependable people I've ever met in my life. They're just sort of super judgmental. So my philosophy is just like to just try and kind of it's a bit of a struggle for everyone. Stuff goes on all the time. That's out of our control. That's out of our control, and you just got to do the best you can. And I think that melancholy is good because it gives you a bit of humility.
Right.
Because boy, when I feel good and I feel happy and I'm like excited about stuff, I really truly am. And it's not. That's because it's not an emotion I don't feel a lot, but it's just like it's all a carousel, isn't it? So if you feel up, you feel down. This is the life goes up and down.
Yeah. Do you feel like when your parents got divorced when you were what 11 and 12 or 12 or so?
12.
12. Do you feel like abandonment issues because of that divorce, or did they give you strength?
Oh, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
Well, my mom left to go and moved to another country, so I didn't see her for a long time, and then I kind of reconnected with her at a later point in my life properly. So that was pretty intense for a 12-year-old boy to like suddenly be living with my dad and my mom leaves. You know, you don't never live with her ever again. So
That's fucked
intense.
up.
That's super intense. Super could fuck you up. And the best part, my favorite detail about that, which is when I have a 10-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, a 17-year-old. They are like, I can't leave them for 5 minutes. You know, they can't be left alone. They
Right.
need shit, right? Just to kind of leave a 12-year-old kid to go to bed every night himself. That's it. And you never live with them again.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. And my favorite thing about it is that no one offered any help as a kid. You know, so to deal with it. It wasn't like talk to someone, go deal with it. Nowadays, it's like, my kid wakes up at night, I've got a fucking message from my ex like, the kid needs therapy. Needs therapy. I don't know if he needs therapy. Crazy. Just like,
He's a kid.
So people are mollycoddled, you know, now with like Tiger. Oh my God, he looks blue. It's like, he's sad. Well, you know, anyway. So yeah, of course that really informed me, and I'm terrified of everyone abandoning me because they normally do, you know.
Yeah.
They all do. So
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
was
weird.
right.
I mean,
Confirmed.
it makes sense. Like, were your parents like perfectionists? Like, your dad was a doctor, right? Your mom was a model. So, like, did they expect so much out of you?
No, they are quite the opposite.
Really?
Well, my mum split. She didn't expect anything, and my dad was just too busy to have any expectations of me. It was a weird one. So I think a lot of my drive was to get his attention. I was always trying to get his attention. And I remember being a funny little fucker sitting in my living room with my dad. It was really sweet. You know, it was there every night. It was so solid, you know, because most people, if they break up, they live with their
Mom. Yeah.
dad.
That's what I did.
mean,
Yeah.
weird. So it's weird. So I lived with my dad. He was amazing. But he just like, he had a hands-off approach to parenting.
Yeah.
His approach was, they're doing fine.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I don't think it's not, it's like, look, Mom, no hands on a bike. You know, it's like, I think you should hold the handlebar.
At least one
I mean, I
hand.
certainly hold the handlebar with my kids. But he'd be like, you'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
So he had a different approach, you know. He was a bit older. I was his third marriage. I was his third, second marriage. Excuse me. He got married after.
Oh,
So when he was my dad as my kid, I was his second marriage. And he just was like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Of course, you'll be fine. So I was like pretty feral. I mean, from 12 years old, I would go out with my friends and just hang out on the streets around our neighborhood. He would leave in the morning or would come back from school if I went to school, if I didn't play truant. And and then we'd play soccer. As a youth club, we'd sit on the streets, just sit there on these housing estates. It was just the weirdest existence. And all my friends were there, and I felt like they were, yeah, it was weird because I went to a really smart school, but I lived in quite a poor area. So all my friends that I grew up with were like, you know, postmen, electricians, painters, plasterers. It was very blue collar. So they all worked out. And then the school I went to was really academic and very smart. So that I had this like disconnect between the two. Like I wasn't sure which group to hang with. And by the time my people I grew up with, at 16, I was like, maybe I don't want to be a postman. I don't know if that's so cool. I don't think I want to deliver mail. And I don't want to be a plasterer. I can paint houses to make money, which is what I did when I was doing music. I paint and decorating. But so I really cut myself off from both worlds. And then at 16, I was like, I went away with all my kind of rough lot. And I suddenly realized, what a bunch of idiots. I don't want to be around these people. They're maniacs. You know, all the brothers were like gangsters, like armed robbers, and they were all seen as cool. And I was just like, what is this? So then I went back to my school, and for 2 years, I really studied English literature, Spanish literature, and French literature. And I fell in love with books. So that was really walk around like aubergine in a Mac. I would go to the cafe and smoke red Marlboros. I didn't even like that. I was trying to be cool. I was reading.
Trying to be a beat poet.
Trying to be Bukowski or something.
Yeah, Bukowski is like Ginsberg. So that's when I fell in love with ballads. And so I was ostracized. The academic school didn't really like me because I'd been really unfriendly and aggressive my first 3 years. My people I grew up with were like, why are you reading books? Well, oh, you like David Bowie, you must be gay, you can't be friends with you, right? So like I was stuck with no one, and I just had these books, and that's when I fell in love with books. And then when I decided to be, when I was left school, I decided to be I was like, I should be a singer. What could I do that doesn't have to have do a job? So I thought I'd be a singer and write words. And I said to my dad, I'd be like, look, this is me working, and I'd write some shitty lyrics and put it into a cassette recorder, start a band, and I'd be like, this is where's my job? So for a number of years, he felt really bad for me because I would just push this terrible idea of being a lyricist and being a songwriter. And I had a knack for it, so I got signed quick to write songs. Publishing deal 6 months, and within 6 months of writing.
Within 6 months?
Yeah,
like Taylor Swift.
Chapel, 6 months.
You and Taylor Swift.
And well, yeah. I tell you, I got $5,000 advance, £5,000.
Sounds okay.
And when I signed with Bush, or got that going, they looked and they saw that I had paid $350,000 to Warner's to get off that deal.
Wow!
So
oh my God!
So it kind of worked out for them in the long
So
run.
did Warner pay that, or were you indebted to them?
No, I was indebted to them, but I didn't understand how it worked. That was the price they put on me to buy out of that deal, because I never got past the 5,000. They never sold any records. So they, for whatever reason, I had to sign that check. So yeah, tough. But so yeah. Why did we get onto that? But
no, we were talking about just earlier in your life and how like I'm curious, like when did your dad finally said he was proud of you? You said he was like, oh, I feel sorry he's doing this thing. When did he finally tell you that you felt like he was proud of you?
Well, the thing about it is that he was the sweetest man. So he was never not proud of me. But I think that he never saw a show. He only saw one show of mine. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
Saw one show
still
in my band in Bush. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was I flew him to New York. Well, he flew to New York and he came to Madison Square Garden.
Well, that's a good one show. Yeah, that's a good one to go to.
It was good. It was a big peak. We started.
Yeah.
And he apparently spent the whole time staring, just looking round at the audience. So he was really supporting me. He was really an amazing, sweet man. He just was very busy. I was not interested in being a traditional parent. He didn't see it as, he was traditional. Instead, he'd come home and put food on the table. We lived in a nice little house, really small bedroom. I loved it, that little place. And when my kids saw where I grew up, they were like, how do you sleep in this room? It's like,
just lay down.
It's so bougie. I made the best bougie kids. How do you sleep here? I feel like
you got to remind them, this will all go away if you don't have a tub. You better be good at rugby, son. No, but I think that's very fascinating because, like, my parents just didn't understand my music life. I started touring when I was 19, and because of that, my parents were together, but they never were that happy. So, like, I had this like weird idea of relationships. Like, how did this idea of abandonment, that everyone was going to leave you, how did you keep Bush around for so long? Because it's like that, if it's in your head.
They like the songs.
Yeah.
They like the
It helps when you're selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. They got good things on planes. I don't know. No, I mean, I've actually maintained with the first incarnation of Bush, well, I was just really lucky to get 3 other people that were really into working that hard. And when you guys, you say you 2 shows a year, I mean, wouldn't you agree that the biggest component, or not component, but the biggest what's the word? Something that you have to have is great connection. I don't understand these bands that tour and don't like each other. Yeah, making loads of money and you ignore it. Like, I really like my first guys I was with, and I really, love them, and I love these guys I'm with now. These guys I'm with now, well, I'm in now for like 13, 14 years.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a long
They're
time.
not, yeah.
They're like the family to me. I love them, and I love being around them, and I don't have a sense of abandonment with them. I just think that if you've had that shit in your life, you have a sense of abandonment of relationships, of personal relationships, and you're always expecting someone to leave. I'm always thinking, well, that they should be off by now. Yeah, that's about it.
Right.
They won't be around much. I just have that. I have that intrinsic. I just can't help it. I just assume that. I thought that the whole way through. Of every relationship I've ever been in, and I've been right a lot of times.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. Like if you say you're with Gwen Stefani, like the idea that you had in your head that everyone is just gonna leave me.
Say Gwen, why not?
Say Gwen or anything. Like I was just like first relationship,
Random.
like random, whatever. Yeah. The idea that I'm like this too. Like I always think it's gonna end before it starts.
Yeah.
Like how do we get out of that idea that everything is just gonna fucking just fall apart and makes us want to do things we shouldn't do.
I think that if anything, it's an ability to say that and to communicate. I think that if people hear that, they can give you the whatever you need, whatever would help you. I think the danger of that is, and I've done it my whole life, of feeling these things and they're not expressing it. I heard there's this amazing philosopher, Alan de Botton, and he wrote this incredible thing about what sulking means. Sulking, when people are in a relationship and they sulk. It's such a great definition. He says sulking is when one person is so deeply hurt by the other person. I'm paraphrasing, obviously I don't memorize this, but when one person is so deeply hurt by the other one in the relationship because they've done something, the other person has done something and they didn't, let me say it better. Yeah, so you're upset about the other person, but you don't tell them why. You just think they should love you enough to know what you're annoyed about. So your inability to describe what's upsetting you, and then your partner's inability to recognize you're even upset, that's sulking.
Yeah.
It gets this situation, it's an impasse where someone's annoyed and sulking and the other person has no clue what they're upset about. Whereas if that person, instead of sulking, say, hey, this bothered me or this triggered something in me, I felt something about that. Could you let's talk it through. And then there's no sulking, there's just pure communication.
Right.
And so that would be that's the one where things can last, is when you communicate, and then it's cool.
Yeah. But how do you communicate when, as men, we didn't even know how to communicate because we couldn't even have a fucking therapist to talk to.
Men started communicating like 3 years ago.
We got to step up and just say what it is. It's much like when you write your lyrics and stuff like that. Sometimes it's really fun to just write just what is true, what's truthful, what I really think about this, because you can just write it down yourself. If you're being a bitch, you'd write it down for yourself to know about it.
Right.
What's really bothering me, you may want to share your bitch qualities too quickly, but you may want to look at them and say, okay, am I being a bitch here or am I justified?
Yeah.
And,
how many times were you being a bitch versus being justified in your life?
Yeah. And there's always going to be a little mixture of both. And it's okay to be a bitch sometimes, because sometimes, why not? Like, fuck, can't all be like stoic and perfect and strong and right, I think that sometimes it's okay to just there's that world of, they call it the dialogue of intimacy, like when you talk to your partner and you're honest about what you feel about things, and your partner can't defend it, can't tell you, it's not based in fact, it's not based in, it's not about defending it, so the other person listening cannot correct, defend, justify, explain. They just have to take that person's feelings and say, okay, you feel this way, let me process those feelings, not my reasoning why that's not justified. Just like, how can I do that? And that's when we have true intimacy with someone.
This is why I needed to be British. Because you are so like you have such a real America has this
I
fairy
need to be British.
fairy tale idea of like romanticizing things that really shouldn't be romanticized.
Yep.
You know, like why can't we just get down to the nitty gritty and say, you know, sometimes life fucking sucks. Sometimes we can't communicate, and we got to take the wins when we take the wins. Why do we always have to feel like we have to take a win every day when we don't feel like taking a win?
Right. I sometimes feel like people are scared to communicate too because they're scared to hear what the other person's going to say. Sometimes they're going to hear something they don't want to hear. You know.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Right. But then the problem is that you know, I mean, imagine that, but the opposite of not hearing that. Imagine that's such a disconnect.
Exactly.
He was someone, they're thinking, you know, something completely different from you. It seems such a, it's such a circuitous way to live. Like really, if you just like go, just talk and you just figure it out, that seems to be the way. By the way, I'm perfectly good at going all around the houses, not getting things done. But I mean, on an ideal level.
Same here, dude. What do you think? What are your like? Do you have any regrets in life? Any regrets that you should have done something differently than you did?
I wish I'd done some better arrangements on Crazy Blades in case I feel like I could have edited some songs on that record.
Do you listen to that
I feel
differently?
like we were a little bit we were a little too proud of ourselves of being a live band. Could stretch songs out. So I could have done with a bit of editing. And then outside of that, I think that I think, you know, like it's incredible. You know, life is just a series of memories, and they either crush you or they give you insight. You know, it's either wisdom or they wound you. You know, and so the idea of living in regret just seems like such a waste of energy. You can totally say, man, I fucking way would have done that better.
Right.
I did not handle that right. I gotta say, I didn't handle it right. But the idea of living in regret just seems so
Dreadful.
It's like putting a weight on the past. Like, why not just fucking learn from stuff? And try and get a bit of wisdom so that you maybe don't do it again. Because that obviously, as you know, is the definition of madness, to keep doing the same thing over and over. So no, I don't believe in regrets because, you know, in a weird way, and everything you ever did, if you take it back to the moment you did it, there was something in you that wanted to do it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I do regret once I went at a fucking one time, I was at a fucking air show and my best friend came with me and I was with my family when I was married and we're up in a stupid plane, this sort of like acrobat, you know, plane acrobats, like a fucking, you know, stupid little plane.
Right.
Near upside down, it would be do. And for some reason, I agreed to go in that plane. Look like I sat in this stinky ass plane. It's really stank. He was really good flyer, but he was not a hygienic man. Right?
Too busy learning to fly.
We would do a couple of spirals. This guy, and I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing this for? The risk to reward ratio is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if I do a couple of somersaults.
Yeah.
This fucking sky. Go fuck yourself in the fucking plane. And I did it like an idiot. And I was like, he did a couple of turns. I was like, you know what? I'm all good. We can go back down. He was, I totally regret this. I did not make a smart decision. So I'm happy to go down at any point. So I deeply regret that.
Yeah. I did. That's.
I would never do that.
I would. Yeah. Fuck all that, Gavin.
So don't
Don't
fly United.
So don't fly United. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Don't fly Boeing planes. But you know, so
yeah, it's the last time I ever flew Southwest, by the way.
So can you tell me why the band broke up the first time, or 2002, and then what was going on?
Well, it did. We never broke up. You know, it's just a war of attrition. What happened is that we'd done a few records, we'd done on tour for so long, and Nigel, the guitar player, felt that he had missed his kid growing up, the first kid. You know, it was like 4 or 5 years old, and he felt he'd missed a lot of time. So he wanted to take a break. I totally understood that. He's a little bit older than we were, so he wanted to take a break. He was less fit. And so you want to be with his family, which it's a beautiful idea, but you know, you got to work. So
Yeah.
we took a break. Then, and I did a side project. I did Institute.
The
That took
Institute.
way
Yeah,
longer because Jimmy Iovine, I was on Interscope. So I wanted to be super cool and be on like Matador and like, you know, Rough Trade and like, oh, look, Chinos in fucking churches or whatever, do a side project and be super cool. And I used to think side projects were like a display of only creativity. Just so creative, just got to go and do another band. So I did that, and that took longer because they made me write for 3 fucking years.
What?
Like they made me write
Whoa.
me Iovine, yeah, it's over and over. And I was like,
Jeez.
oh my God, this is meant to be a side project. So then I did that. And then in 2 months, this first song, Bulletproof Skin, which is a fucking good track,
Yeah, it is.
got wherever it got. And then they go, okay, you got to do another record now. And so I asked to do a Bush record. And the guys didn't want to tour. Still didn't want to tour. So I had a bunch of songs and I went and did, which is, I don't agree with this. I'm not into a solo life. I mean, Jerry Cantrell is the only person I know that can be in a solo project that I care about.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think it's bad.
That's so good.
Thing is, in bands, I personally prefer to see the band.
Yeah.
I'm always like, you know, like I know people want to see Bush more than they want to see me, and so I didn't feel comfortable doing the solo career. Some people do it, so as I say,
Yeah.
I can't fault that, and you know, I got to be careful. So
Yeah.
yeah. Everything I say is about me. It's not about other people. you
Right.
know?
No, totally. It's
Right,
your
right.
personality.
And then they didn't want to come back. Then they didn't want to come back, and then actually the drummer only came back because I said, "Let's get back the band together." And the bass player Dave said, "I could do it for a year." Nigel didn't want to do it. I was like, "Do it for a year." I mean, like, we got momentum. We got to like,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, like, this was by the way a long time ago. It was like 15 years ago. So therefore, clearly, I was intending to do it for longer than a summer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I got a new incarnation and just did it like that. So that's how. So it was never we broke up. We never had an argument. Never fell out.
Yeah.
Never had any cues. It just sort of that's where it went.
But it was kind of like, must have been heartbroken because, like, you know, it's back to that, you feeling that abandonment. Like your guys didn't want to fucking ride with you again. Did that fucking bum you out?
Sort of, but I'd been doing a band. Chris joined in 2002, helped out, covered first in 2002. So I already had Chris, and I was really friendly with Chris. And then when I did the solo record, I had Corey that I met, that he just was the best bass player I'd ever played with. I really enjoyed him. And, so yes and no, because sometimes with I was excited about my friendship, Chris. You know, we're like best friends, and it was like, okay, fuck, you know, yeah, there was this. I was surprised, but it was an exciting solution right in front of me. You know, you have guys that have noticed that the biggest problems in your life, or the biggest answers, biggest questions that you'll ever have, the answers are always super close. They're never far.
Right.
They're never far. I'm always like looking far away for answers, and I just go, look close. That's where your answer is.
Right.
And so I had Chris and Corey, and then I got the Robin to come back. So that's how that worked out. It was, you know, you know, I think things work out how they should. I don't believe in to that question about regrets. Life is how it should be, even the worst bits, even the most painful bits. It just doesn't know things. I feel there's an order of things. So I'm not completely stone cold, nothing. There's no energy in the atmosphere. There's something. So I believe we are where we should be. You know?
You're atheist, but not that atheist.
Well, no, because I don't believe in God. I don't believe in a higher power.
Right.
But as a kid, I went to at my schools, you know, in England, I sang Latin hymns every day.
Right.
It's crazy.
I went to church every day. So I often think that my musical training and my kind of understanding of melody and cadences is from hymns. It's from hearing
I bet.
hymns my whole life. Because that's the big training, that and Motown,
Yeah.
When did you
know what I mean?
realize
Like
God?
the radio. But
Oh, sorry.
but definitely
yeah.
yeah.
No, I hear that. When did you realize that God doesn't exist?
Well, I just always thought that I could, when I was a kid and small in church, I'd be looking around going, come on. Really?
Same thing, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. I'd be like, look around, be like, what? Come on. I mean, this seems so far-fetched. It still does. And
Yeah.
I just cannot believe that I just feel that people, it never resonates. Here's a fun fact. I have a half brother. My dad was married, his first marriage. My half brother was a vicar, then he became a bishop. There's only 12 bishops in England.
Wow.
He became a bishop, and he's the worst person I've ever had to deal with. So,
man, I mean, they are narcissists sometimes.
They're narcissists.
The people that get that far in religion
It's
have.
gross.
They're smart,
They're
but they're
horrible.
very
They're
obsessed with
horrible.
themselves. Yeah.
I had to deal with him since when my father died. He left me as a trustee, and with my brother, who I don't really know that well, but just the two of us. So it's been super Shakespearean,
Right.
like awful. Two polar opposite people trying to manage a very modest sort of estate. It's been tortuous, and so yeah, the worst. And that's someone who's given his life to religion. It's like nonsense.
What's he say to you?
The least
Being
chance-
an atheist, does he try to get you back to the dark side?
Oh, we have no connection.
Yeah.
We have no
Right.
connection. I had a sort of
This
we've
DNA.
had we just have to deal with. I have to look after my step or whatever. We have to some business that we have to deal with. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing to do. Never had a conversation about that.
Oh.
I mean, whatever.
I want to go quickly back to the past about your mom. Did she ever apologize for abandoning you?
Sort of. I mean, I have a great relationship with her now. I totally
Yeah.
forgave her, and she's my mother, brought me into the world, and I always took it as a one time, sort of. There's a lot of stuff that is kind of unsaid, but I don't live in that kind of regret with her. She brought me into the world. I think she went through a rough time where she just was not happy, and the weirdest thing is that it always made me feel. I mean, obviously it broke me in many ways, but in some ways, I really took it objectively as like, adults get it wrong all the time.
Right. It's her first
I just
time
thought
doing
of
it.
like, wow. It's funny because I see people at church and I go, oh, come on. Like, really?
Yeah.
And then when that kind of shit goes on and that stuff, I just think that she was just really unhappy living there.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years were quite difficult because she was just upset in the house. And so that was quite contentious anger,
Right.
So there was anger and then I was just like, gosh, she's fucking unhappy. That's an unhappy person.
Yeah.
I just reconciled that. And then when she was gone, I just like, I don't know, I just gone with it. It was weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Sometimes closure for
Yeah.
that kind of stuff works to kind of like move on with it. You
Yeah.
know, like I was always thought
Can't
that
change it.
can't change it. I like this idea of
It's like
Yeah.
the regret thing.
I think that people could be allowed to be human. Humans, we're all so flawed. It's all about forgiveness daily, just forgiving people for just because, when we hold on to things and we judge people, as we all do, we try not to, you end up carrying that burden. It becomes a burden, a large burden.
Mm-hmm.
And with forgiveness and perspective and not taking things personally and just seeing other people on their journey, you're suddenly not carrying all that baggage.
Right.
Right.
Don't take it personal. I mean, I think that the biggest trick of life, best life hack ever, is don't take things personally.
yeah.
When we take things so personally.
So
I
true.
Couldn't it? Everything you say, I
everything's
agree.
being done. But if you just take the view that it's not being done to us,
Yeah.
it's just It's a reflection of other people. Everything's a reflection of other people, how they behave, how we react is the reflection of us. You can just choose, and that's where I have a Buddhist spiritual leaning, because that's the Buddhist teachings and all these interesting. I was reading, I do like these Maharaj, this guy, I'm not my mind. It's brilliant. My mind is not my problem. It's my mind's problem. I'm not my mind.
Yeah.
By the way, all these, they're all part of these lyrics I have on these songs. I'm not my mind. It's such a great idea, isn't it? Like, if you're seriously worried about something, you can just say, hang on a minute. It's just my mind that's worried. That's not me. It's my mind. Let my mind worry. Leave it alone. And you don't feed it. That's
Holy
the power
shit.
in letting go.
The
It's so
detaching
incredible.
of mind is freedom, right?
Yeah. If you detach yourself from your mind, you just can let your mind.
The British.
Why would you care bullshit around? No, that's Indian. That's Indian.
That's true.
That's not British.
Well,
That's literally an Indian mystic, Maharaj.
So I guess
he,
So I guess, like that my first question about regret you answered. So my question about forgiving yourself is answered too, because if you're not worried about the past, then you've already forgave.
yeah, you do have to forgive yourself, and it's a battle because you feel that all these concepts, before you think about it, it's like the weeds of regret, or the weeds of beating yourself up. I'm really self-punitive. Punitive superego is my psychiatric evaluation. So all the time you have to beat those things away, because the natural instinct is to take responsibility, take it personally, fuck it up into the next thing, fuck it up into the next meeting you have because you're annoyed about what happened earlier. And all these things you just let go, They're just these burdens. And that's how I live at my best. That's what I believe.
And
That
also,
and marijuana.
yeah. Yeah. Did you ever get into like substance abuse or anything?
Yeah, I've self-medicated my whole life. I'm from London.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
But like anything like heroin or coke or some bad stuff, or no?
Well, no, the thing is, as well, in England, everybody does cocaine. So
Yeah.
I just never liked it. But even not liking it meant that once every 2 weeks, I have to spend a dumb night with my friends talking bullshit, waking up and you're like, oh my God.
You love Denver.
I don't like it. Just the best thing about cocaine for me is that it's shit for being creative. So
Yeah.
it's just the worst.
It's the worst,
drug
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't, it's not my thing, but back in the day, growing up in London, it's like everywhere. It's like, so I'd be trying to write on it and see how interesting can I be? And I'd read the next morning, I'd go, absolutely not interesting one bit, fucking useless. So, where I grew up, I grew up in the centre of London, so super druggy, clubs and whatever like that. But, it literally, there's two factions. One faction is the kind of, what you now call, weed or Molly or, just drugs that are social, drugs that are interactive, whatever, just fun. And, but work with their fun. When you get into and then there's the other side, which is heroin, crack, meth, those kind of, that's when drugs and people's vocation is so broken. It's fucking so broken.
Right.
That those drugs help those breaks. They don't, that's those drugs. And so I grew up with tons of people that have died of heroin overdoses, smack addicts. If they're not heroin, they're not dead from it. Their whole life defined by whether they use it or not. Hey, how you doing? How is brilliant? I've been sober for 3 months. Oh, brilliant. Not like anything they've created,
Right.
anything they're doing. It's just a battle with the drugs. So that there's the dividing line really clear for me, because I'm from London, so I'm really well versed in all this stuff. And I just never had any interest in nihilism. I was broken, but I am broken. But I love music so much. I love performing, and I don't want to do stuff that makes me song for shit. And you can't be a good singer if you're just doing loads of coke and just fucking bullshit. So no, I'm not into anything heavy. I'm just sort of much more I'm a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you drink or no?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
of course, I'm English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the best part, I remember once being on tour with my drummer, and he called up a friend of his in Glasgow, and he goes, a guy goes, "Hey, you want to go out for a drink?" He goes, "No, I'm not drinking right now. I'm clean." He goes, "Okay, you want to go for a beer then?"
That's so good.
That's fucking amazing.
Frasco's gonna move to Glasgow.
I'm moving to Glasgow, baby.
Just a beer. I do also because I like alcohol with food, and yeah. So, but I've been doing this thing. I was thinking I was drinking too regularly. I don't ever drink low. So in a night, I'm not like a 10 beers
Yeah.
guy. But it's really hard. 6, comes around the day, and you're just like a cold beer in a cold glass.
Yeah.
Feels really good. So I just did that crazy water fast. I did 3.5 day. Dana White inspired me to do the 80-hour water fast.
Hold on.
And that was
Only
good
water?
because I didn't.
Only water?
Yeah,
No
Only water.
vitamins, nothing, just water?
water. Well, I did a black coffee, 2 cups of black coffee for 3 mornings. I was like, oh my God, this will be so good when I can put milk in it. And 3 days, 3.5 days.
How'd your body react
Right,
to
it's not
that?
bad.
How'd your body
Oh, it
react?
was fun. Really happy, like so good, like amazing. I totally it looked like I had it really looked like I had a facelift because I was like, okay, I look a certain way. I'm getting older, so it's okay. I'm not cracking as much as I could crack, but I'm cracking and drooping and dropping. What like life goes on. But then when I did that, something I was like, oh shit, maybe the chocolate and beer isn't good for me. Because
Luckily, you had a high ceiling to begin with.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I really was like, oh my God. I was like looking inside and really and then what it does is it just resets your mind to just want to eat clean and not drink every day. So then I was like, drink every other day.
Yeah.
And I just drink those. I mean, that went away and I'm back to drinking every day.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it again so that it's crazy. My life is one craving to another. That's a very Buddhist concept.
Holy shit.
My life is a fucking series of stepping stones through the day, but all the cravings that I have.
Yes.
And what me happy. It's weak, but I have my cravings.
It's crazy. This man has seen it all. And now you're a great dad. Like, if you learned from how you wanted to be a dad, from seeing how your dad treated you, to now you're taking those lessons of what you don't want to do and approaching it to your kids.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was always accused of being the one with the least discipline because I basically, it's a competition. I wanted the best household. Right?
Yeah.
So I wanted the best fucking stuff.
Right.
One of the best video games, the best fucking anything. Just make it great when they come in here. It's a win,
Yeah.
And so all I've ever been really big on is manners. Like I'm really super big on how they eat and how they meet people and how they look in people's eyes. And I say to them, be funny and be polite, and life is gonna open up for you. Because I think the most crucial thing for kids, if you have kids, the most crucial thing is that just make your kids likable. Just make your kids likable.
Yeah.
Because if the kids are not likable, if they're shitty kids, they're gonna have a shitty life with shitty friends.
Yeah,
it's true.
No future. Make them likable, make them cool, make them aware of other people, thoughtful, funny.
Right.
That's all that I've figured that mattered. The funniest thing about my kids is they all become crazy musicians now. I never pushed it. I have a studio here. I've got 2 great guitar players. My eldest son is singing and playing, and so is my 15-year-old, and really way better than I was. I mean, much better than I was. I'm like, much better than I was. And they're impressive. The 10-year-old is now into piano, and he has lessons every week. He's been playing maybe 3 months now. He's really good. He can play Interstellar. I sit with him in my studio to just play that, please, just play that song. He can do a ding. I'm like, blows me away.
It's gonna be
So,
like Partridge Family
I'm-
over there at the Rossdale family. Are you guys gonna all join a band?
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. Because I'm not gonna. What's beautiful about it is that they do it independently. Like it's not like I'm not in the band. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it with it. They might ask me something sometimes, but they have to. I find it really primal. Like they have to be independent of me. I don't do it sort of like leaning on.
Right.
You want to just turn their back on you, become independently young men.
Totally.
So when they go off and learn their things, I mean, obviously they've got great guitar pedals, and they've got they've got all these fucking guitars. They can, I just went to storage with my 15-year-old the other day. He's like, I'll take that Strat, I'll take that bass, because they're sitting in storage, and he's got great guitars. And I think there's nothing wrong with them having it. They all started with terrible guitars, right? But it's much more fun as musicians, you understand, when it sounds good.
Yeah.
It's much more fun.
Totally.
It sounds good. So I get a good sound. I just basically, to get a really wicked sound. For the 15-year-old, the big other one doesn't want my help.
Yeah.
And I like that,
I like that too.
But they play Green Day, they play Foo Fighters. It's made me really appreciate, like I always loved Everlong, but fucking what a fucking great song.
I know.
That guy can write,
I
man.
know. Dave's in the valley too.
Dave.
Do you guys
So
talk? Do you guys hang? You and Dave? He lives in the valley.
We spent many years together because our three is a bit like Fiddler on the Roof or something, because my three sons went to the same school as his three daughters.
Oh wow.
I love it.
It's pretty funny. We're good at school assemblies. It's like me, Dave, Paul Stanley, his kids or his son went there. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Rockstar High School.
So I go pretty like with me and Dave. It was a tricky beginning. We didn't get on at first, and then we saw each other a lot. I did a Bush record. I recorded drums at Studio 666, whatever his studio is called.
Yeah.
Well, he's really great. I love him. I wish I could see him more. We live close by, but he's I don't know. I think I like him more than Lance Lee.
Gavin, thanks for being on the show.
All right.
You're the best. Keep rocking.
Right.
I can't wait to hear the new record, and thanks for being so vulnerable. Later.
Thank you.
Bye.